Dreamworks' latest animated feature, The Bad Guys, has plenty of lovable characters, crazy levels of action, and more than a few twists. Although the film is mostly a story of redemption and self-improvement, it's also partially a heist movie. And you can't have a heist movie without a team made up of people who each have a special set of skills. But of all the good and bad guys in the film, which are the most powerful? I'm Kristijan with WickedBinge, and this is The Bad Guys, Weak to Powerful. Major spoilers ahead for The Bad Guys, as we'll be going over not only the characters' power levels, but some of the film's plot points as well. Additionally, when it comes to our ranking, we won't just be looking at physical size and strength, we'll also be looking at skills, intelligence, and resources. With all that said, let's begin our list, starting with our weakest character. And the weakest The Bad Guys character has to be local reporter Tiffany Fluffit. In a cast mostly made up of animals, with one exception who we'll get to in a moment, Tiffany doesn't really stand out when it comes to power. Technically, as a reporter, she does have a decent amount of influence. Throughout the film, we see her use her newscasts to turn people against the bad guys, and later on Professor Marmalade. So in a way, her status does grant her just a bit of power. Outside of that, though, we don't see her demonstrate any special skills nor strengths, so we had to give her our lowest ranking. Following her as the second weakest character, we have Mr. Snake. It may be surprising to see a member of the bad guys' crew this low down, but we have our reasons. First, let's go over Snake's strengths. As a snake, he's able to use his stomach as a sort of bag of holding. We see that he's able to keep items in his stomach that he can later regurgitate and then use. A bit gross, but still useful. Additionally, Snake is called a Houdini without arms, in that he's able to crack any and all safes, whether it's a small and simple safe or a giant bank vault. Finally, while he isn't usually considered the brains of the team, it was Mr. Snake who was able to double-cross Marmalade, so the fact that he was able to come up with a plan to do so all on his own indicates that he must be pretty clever at the very least. Though this cleverness isn't always present, a case in point when he decides to eat all the guinea pigs that the bad guys were supposed to rescue. Now, considering that he could barely move afterwards, we weren't really sure what his endgame was. Additionally, because he has no limbs, his fighting and defense skills are limited, to the point where Marmalade is able to get the better of him in the climax, nearly killing him. Even if he is still able to fight somewhat, Snake struggles to hold a candle to his teammates. After him, we're going to be ranking Police Chief Misty Luggins next. Being the chief of police, Luggins naturally has quite a bit of resources at her disposal. Namely, she seems to have an endless supply of cops that she can call upon whenever she hears about the bad guys causing trouble. But even without her fellow officers, Luggins has quite a bit of her own power. She's pretty large and muscular for a human, and we even see her being strong enough to drag the bad guys' getaway car towards her during the film's opening car chase. That scene also shows just how agile she can be despite her large stature, being fast enough to keep up with her police car and safely dodge obstacles. What keeps Luggins from getting ranked any higher, however, is how easily and often she and her officers are tricked by the bad guys, and how oblivious she can be. Even when she's at her most focused, Luggins still ultimately would have failed again if not for Marmalade sabotaging the bad guys. So as it stands, we had to rank her here. Next is the leader of the crew, Mr. Wolf. There's no denying that Wolf is incredibly intelligent, being the one who's able to come up with all the bad guys' heist plans. He's clever, charming, and is shown to be extremely good with his hands, able to pickpocket people without them ever noticing. Not even Chief Luggins is safe from this. Being a wolf, we also have to acknowledge the guy's strength, speed, and his wolf features, like his claws and sharp teeth. Additionally, he's shown to have some pretty impressive reflexes and leg strength during the scene where he's able to rescue a cat from a tree. Finally, we have to give a shout out to Wolf's master-level getaway driving skills, being able to outrun and outmaneuver any officer or police car. We're not gonna lie, it's really impressive. So, with all these skills, how does Wolf only make it to the 4th spot on our list? Honestly, this is a case of the other characters just being that much stronger, either having more scenes where they get to show off their fighting skills or having more impressive talents. I'm sorry, Mr. Wolf. Moving on, we have the arachnid, techie, and hacker extraordinaire, Miss Tarantula. For someone of her size, Miss Tarantula should be pretty proud of making it to the middle of our list. What she lacks in physical strength, she more than makes up for in her hacking skills. When we say she can hack anything, this spider can literally hack anything. This includes streetlights, security cameras, and even security systems that are specifically designed to counter her. While some of these obstacles may slow her down, we never really see her lose in the film or fail to hack into something. With these abilities, she's not only able to help her crew, but she's also able to create obstacles and hindrances for their enemies to deal with.
I also took over the police dispatch, blurred their satellite imaging system.
Unfortunately for Tarantula, this is pretty much her only skill. It's a pretty impressive and extremely useful skill, which is why she's able to rank above Wolf and Snake, but outside of tech-related scenarios, there really isn't much more she's able to do. Her small size is a huge weakness when it comes to combat, obviously, and without fangs nor extra abilities, Tarantula just isn't able to be much of a physical threat. But like we said, this is a list focused on overall power, and this spider's hacking skills are certainly powerful. As we enter the upper half of our list, we have Mr. Shark, the master of disguise himself. While it may be at times hard to believe that any of his disguises would ever work, we see throughout the film that they not only do work, but always work, allowing him to do what needs to be done to help his crew out during their heists. According to Wolf, Shark's greatest feat was stealing the Mona Lisa while disguised as the Mona Lisa. And given how much security that painting has, this couldn't have been an easy task. All in all, being able to sneak into any situation undetected is an incredibly useful skill that can't be understated. Additionally, unlike Tarantula, who doesn't have much left when you take away her special talent, Shark has some additional qualities that help boost his ranking. Simply put, this guy's strong. He's not necessarily the strongest on the team, but strong enough to rip the roof off Wolf's car without much of a struggle. We also can't forget about his super sharp shark teeth, say that 3 times fast, or the fact that he was able to swallow Snake whole. In the end, Shark easily earns the title of second strongest bad guy. Of course, that only leaves one option left for most strongestest. Earning the Bronze Medal of Power is the final member of the bad guys, Mr. Piranha. No surprise that the literal muscle of the team makes it this high up. No, strength isn't everything when it comes to power, but it can certainly still play a big part. Now, Piranha is not only strong and skilled enough to fight off multiple opponents at once, but he's also incredibly speedy, like an actual piranha, to the point where he's able to keep up with high-speed vehicles, making him all the more dangerous. Similar to Wolf and Shark, Piranha also has a pretty nasty set of teeth. What really earned him an advantage over his teammates, though, is, ironically enough, his size. Being so tiny, he's able to both outmaneuver his opponents and hide in small places for his infamous surprise attacks. Like when he hid in the police car's glove box during the opening car chase, or under a cloche during the final heist. Having the ability to swim through small sewer pipes is also pretty useful. And we certainly can't forget his gas bombs that happen whenever he gets nervous. But while his muscle is impressive, there are still 2 characters that manage to outrank him. For our Silver Medal of Power, we're giving it to Professor Rupert Marmalade IV. Naturally, as the film's secret big bad, they had to make him pretty powerful. His most powerful and obvious trait is, of course, his status and reputation. Being the goodest of the good, it's very easy for him to get the public on his side. Speaking of which, this mini professor is not only clever, but extremely manipulative, being able to play the bad guys, Wolf especially, from the beginning. Given that he's a professor, he's also got a pretty high level of book smarts, having the knowledge needed to figure out how to effectively harness the power of the meteor. Speaking of which, he does temporarily gain an army of guinea pigs, and a pretty devastating and destructive army at that. So yeah, this is a pretty powerful baddie. But again, we had to acknowledge that when it comes to his size and physical strength, he does have a huge disadvantage. The only person he's shown to outmatch physically is Snake, and even then it could be argued that that win was partially due to him having an element of surprise. Ultimately, this is why we couldn't give him our top spot. But finally, our Gold Medal of Power is going to Diane Foxington, aka the Crimson Paw. No real surprise here. After all, the Crimson Paw was an undefeatable criminal, someone who was never caught while also being skilled and talented enough to pull off a golden dolphin heist, something no other criminal could do. Diane's governor persona also grants her quite a bit of power and influence since she's a governor and all. Going back to her Crimson Paw side, Diane is a martial arts master that was able to take out hundreds of cops and escape a prison in the middle of the ocean without breaking a sweat. She's also a great motorcycle driver and has a whole arsenal's worth of various weapons and gadgets, from throwing stars to a flamethrower disguised as lipstick. Really, Diane has no noticeable weaknesses. She's got the physical strength, the smarts, the talents, the weapons, and the status. We really just couldn't think of anyone who deserved the title of most powerful the bad guy's character more. But let us know in the comments section if you agree with our ranking, and tell us what we should cover next. Remember to hit that notification bell and binge our Weak to Powerful playlist, where we break down the most powerful characters in your favorite cartoons, shows, shows and movies. But most importantly, stay wicked.